this is what I am really excited to talk about today. I think the best person of all time, we can call it here, Wikipedia, in honor of baseball season, we are going to talk about Professional Baseball Hall of Famer Rube Waddell. And I will say there's not a whole lot of baseball to talk about here, but there's a lot of Rube.
He's a lot to handle. He was, I will say, before you even get into the non-baseball stuff, if you look up his career numbers, that guy was putting up strikeout numbers.
He had a career 2.16 ERA.
And his Ks per 9 today probably wouldn't look that crazy, but for that era, with the way that guys always made contact, he was striking out literally like twice as much as the next guy in the league. He was like a Walter Johnson type. But sorry, I don't mean to... Yeah.
There's a lot here. There's a lot here that we have to get through because I am just fascinated by this guy. Feel free to interject at literally any point. Rube Waddell was born on Friday the 13th, 1876, and died on April Fool's Day, 1914. So that's all going to add up as we go through the rest of this.
The short life in particular.
Yeah, I condensed this, so I wrote this. I'm going to be reading something that I wrote based off a lot of information I gathered because there's a lot to get through here. He used to do cartwheels off the mound in games that he won.
That's a rad start.
In 1900, this guy's doing cartwheels when he wins. You couldn't do that shit today without somebody having a fucking aneurysm.
Yeah, that does give you a lot of, like, the whole old school, like, back in my day baseball, like, what do you mean Rube Waddell did a cartwheel 120 years ago? And, you want to lose it about Ozzie Smith doing a backflip or something? Yeah.
He was easily distracted by shiny objects and once disappeared for months during an off-season only to be discovered wrestling alligators in a circus.
Yep.
Again, best guy. We're not even a quarter of the way through all the amazing things about this man.
And I do want to jump in on a couple things because you have the access to more of the info, but I do believe that his opponents on multiple occasions used the shiny object thing against him and would fuck with him during games, and like fans would. It became known enough. And I think one time he even like left the mound. Like, I got to see what this shiny thing is.
You'll see as I read through this, he left the field often. He's like, I know I'm like technically working right now, but I have to go see that fire truck.
Exactly. It's pretty cool.
He tried out for the This one made me laugh because there's no more information here, but it made me laugh really hard. He tried out for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1897, but was seated next to manager Patsy Donovan during breakfast and was released immediately after the meal. Rube, what did you do? What did you say? He must have taken his silverware, shiny silverware.
This guy's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Like this isn't just like some fucking guy where you're like, he just said something so weird. Get him off the team. Like, this is a guy winning like 30 games for you a year or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, get him. He's gone. Yeah. He has to go.
Has to leave.
Yeah. He just asked me if I eat my own poop or whatever he said.
Yeah. Here we go, Cole. We were just talking about this. He once left in the middle of a game to go fishing. That's something you usually premeditate.
I like how they couldn't find the motherfucker wrestling gators for months, but they found him fishing the same goddamn day.
I imagine somebody had to follow him.
Right. The game's
Where
going.
Where the fuck are you going? It's an 0-2 count.
We don't know. I'm sure there weren't even bullpens at that point. We're like, we don't have anyone warming up. What the fuck?
I'm not being fair to Rube. I'm sure he didn't leave in the middle of an at-bat. He probably finished the inning.
I don't know, Chris.
He had a fascination with fire trucks and ran off the field to chase after them during games on multiple occasions. I'm in love with this guy. He would delay games to play marbles with kids.
That's adorable.
On August 19th, 1900, he pitched the first game of a doubleheader for Milwaukee, winning in the 17th inning on his own triple. Pitchers should hit. His manager offered him a 3-day fishing vacation if he'd pitch the second game. He threw a complete game shutout and headed for Pewaukee Lake.
So he threw 26 innings? Oh, my God. Dude, even in the old era, that is unfucking believable.
He began the 1903 season sleeping in a firehouse in Camden, New Jersey, and ended it tending bar in a saloon in Wheeling, West Virginia. He won 22 games that year. That same year... I know, it's crazy. The guy doesn't even know where he's sleeping.
That's so far to go. Was he playing for the same team at the end of it? Where did he start and where?
New Jersey and Virginia. West Virginia.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess that's not. But still, in that era, and you're still traveling with the team. What the fuck?
That same year, he toured the country in a vaudeville play called The Stain of Guilt, but could not remember his lines, so was given permission to ad-lib short responses.
Who cast this man?
Apparently, a lot of people turned out to see him.
You're going to put Shiny Object Guy on stage? And this guy probably doesn't even know how to look over at, like, the understudy and be like, line.
Yeah, like, at one point, he got a little carried away, and he took the villain in the play and threw him across the stage, and they didn't know what to do after that. Like, that wasn't in the script.
How do you bounce back from that?
Yeah, he's really strong.
That's like how Buster Keaton got trained. His dad would throw him around when he was a kid.
He once saved a woman from drowning, accidentally shot a friend through the hand, and was bitten by a lion. How is this person real? Again, like 1900, were the 1900s real, like the early 1900s?
They were certainly real for tuberculosis and shit. I don't know.
Oh, that's so fucked up. That's how he died.
Oh, of course. Could have called that one. But, like, how did you... Lions were not a thing that they were just roaming around.
It had to be when he was in the circus. That's the only connection I can make.
True. I'm glad he was in the circus long enough
when this Major League Hall of Famer was in the circus, you know, before he was doing the vaudeville play, he couldn't remember his lines in. He must have been bitten by a lion.
It's like Bob Gibson being a Harlem Globetrotter.
It's interesting he was wrestling alligators and it was the lion that bit him.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I guess that goes to show you the whole, you know, keeping their mouth closed thing really does work.
The lion must have had something shiny in there. Must have had a crown.
With a name like Rube.
This is great because this includes a letter to Connie Mack.
Oh, my God.
Somebody wrote a letter about Rube Waddell to Connie Mack, who was his manager. Anyway, in 1906, his team traveling roommate penned a letter to their manager, Connie Mack, saying, "Dear Connie, this is not a touch for any advance or increase in salary, but something much more serious. Oh. And as it won't be long before the Athletics start south for spring practice, I am going to ask you put Waddell under another charge this year. While I did not mind Rube bringing mockingbirds and a reptile or two into our sleeping apartments down south," I love this.
A reptile or two. Which to me suggests minimum 4, I would just like to say.
"I do object to his habit of eating crackers in bed, many of them resembling animals. This Rube does nightly. His crunching of the crackers, the bed was full of crumbs. I would like to suggest that if you can put a clause in his contract that he is not to eat crackers in bed during the 1907 season, we will continue to be real good friends."
It is clear to me that Connie Mack put the two biggest assholes.
They were best drinking buddies.
Oh, yeah. For sure. To be driven...
This wound up in the contract, by the way.
Connie took it serious. Yeah. He said, "Oh shit." Oh man. I'm so glad they found a guy that could even match like 1/10 of Rube's weird energy to be like, "I was okay with the lizards."
They had to have been sharing a bed. That's the only way I could think of it possibly being that annoying.
Yeah, seriously, because I mean, I can imagine the smacking of the lips or what, that is annoying, but you're so mad about the crumbs in his bed, you have to be sharing a bed. Unless it's just out of control. Like from afar, you're just so pissed.
Yeah.
Can't believe this.
He famously saved the lives of people inside a department store when he picked up a burning oil stove that had overturned and carried it out of the building before it could start a fire. This is the last one. Saved the city of Hickman, Kentucky from floods twice in 1912 and 1913, wading through icy waters, which led to pneumonia and tuberculosis, which ultimately caused his death. Holy fucking shit. What a fucking life.
Yeah. Legend. He was still playing, too, actively when he died,
He was in the
right?
minors. Yeah, he was in the minor leagues after. Yeah, he had been... for some reason relegated to the minors. His numbers were still quite good, so I'm not sure exactly why.
Could have been behavioral issues.
Might have been all the lizards.
Gonna get this fucking weirdo out of
No,
my
it was
face.
the animal crackers. Nobody could stand
Even
it.
Connie Mack was like, "I see what you're talking about."
This is the most adorable person I've ever heard of in every way. And I think it's really beautiful that every night he'd tuck into bed and just have some animal crackers.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
But
Let him have his animal crackers.
But he clearly ate them like the Cookie Monster.
Yeah, he's
Cookies
holding
are
the bag
flying.
over- yeah. He's chugging them.
Famous Amuses are flying.